Good morning, class. Good morning, my fellow classmates. This is our visual presentation of Brunner's constructivist theory, and we are group number 4. And before we start our lesson on the Brunner's constructivist theory, let us give insight on the definition of Brunner's constructivist theory. So, according to Brunner's constructivist theory, constructivist view of learning, students actively participate in the learning process rather than passively taking in information, which means according to Brunner's constructivist view of learning, students are not just passive recipients of information. They actively engage in the learning process. These engagements allow them to build new knowledge based on their prior experience. Brunner emphasized that learning is most effective when students connect new concepts to what they already know. By discovering ideas independently, they develop a deeper understanding of material. Additionally, as they encounter more complex topics, they benefit from supportive guidance that help them navigate these challenges. That is what is the definition of the Brunner's constructivist theory. That is the meaning of the constructivism that Jerome Brunner's constructed. Who is Jerome Brunner? Jerome Brunner was an American psychologist and influential figure in the field of cognitive psychology. He is best known for his contributions to the constructivist learning theory, which is he pioneered himself, that he managed to make that theory of the view of learning, which I will explain later on.
So, inactive mode refers to primary form of knowledge, acquisition, and encoding utilized by infants age of 0 to 1 years old. In this age group, infants learning heavily reliant on motor reaction and physical interactions with their environment rather than relying on symbolic representation or mental representation. Infants primarily learn by actively engaging in motor behavior and exploring to fidget's sensory-motor stage, which lays the foundation for future cognitive and motor development. In this mode, babies acquire knowledge and develop skills through physical interactions with their surroundings. And instead of relying on mental representation or abstract thinking, infants learn by doing things and experiencing their consequence. This mode of learning involves developing muscles memories through action. For an example, if in an infant plays with a rattle, the action of shaking the rattle would be stored in their memory as a motor actions. Thank you.
Iconic mode. Iconic mode usually between age and 1 and 6. In this stage, kids store information in the form of sensory image known as icon, which are often visual and work like mental pictures. However, some people claim they don't experience this image or only do so unconsciously. Iconic mode. This idea helps explain why visual aids like pictures or diagrams are so effective when learning something new. Thinking in this stage also includes other sensory forms such as sounds, smells, or touch, which can help in understanding and remembering information. Symbolic. In the symbolic stage of cognitive development, which align with Piaget concrete operational stage, knowledge is primarily represented through language, mathematical symbols, and various other symbolic systems. This stage typically begins around the age of 6 to 7. During the period,
Children learn to use symbols such as words and musical notes to present ideas and concepts. This symbolic representation becomes crucial for storing and communicating knowledge, making a
Brunner's spiral curriculum. One, two, three. Brunner's spiral curriculum. Brunner's discovery learning emphasized that students should organize information themselves, discovering relationship rather than receiving ready-made content. He argues that students build knowledge by classifying data using personal coding system, which they create through independent exploration. This approach aligns with Constructivist method, where learners take an active role in their education.
The importance of language. Berner argues that language is essential for developing the capacity to think abstractly. It helps individuals more beyond mere appearances, facilitating a more sophisticated cognitive process. Language enables the expansion of concepts beyond the immediately here and now. It posits that infants' intellectual abilities similar to adults and are born with the capacity for active, intelligent problem solving.
Scaffolding theory is an instructional method that involves breaking down new information into manageable steps and providing support as needed so that students can learn and use the knowledge independently. Scaffolding is an educational technique first proposed by psychologist Jerome Bruner in the 1960s. It is a process through which teachers provide support initially so that students can work independently. Teachers have several ways of accomplishing this, like working with students, prior knowledge, breaking up a lesson into parts, encouraging participation, and providing support as needed. Brunner recommends that teachers use language, action, and images to explain new concepts. For example, a middle school biology teacher may show students a video on mitosis, then have them to take a short, open book quiz aided by a glossary. After a class-wide discussion on the topic, during which the teacher show examples of mitosis and answer student question. Students may retake the quiz without textbook to measure their comprehension. The scaffolding approach differs from traditional independent learning model, in which a teacher asks students to read an article as homework, write a 5 pages essay, and hand it in by the end of the week without providing an additional structure support. Students are typically available to ask questions, but many are hesitant in this scenario. Students would be responsible for navigating their own way through new course content, which would likely prove challenging for students who do not learn while via independent study. It helps learners understand new information and content by working with an educator who has a better knowledge of the materials. The theory states that students learn more quickly when working collaborate with someone who is more informed compared to learning the content alone.
In conclusion, Jerome Bruner's constructivist theory has had a profound impact on educational psychology, highlighting the active role of learners in constructing their own knowledge. Through principles such as discovery learning, the spiral curriculum, modes of representation, and scaffolding, Brunner emphasized that learning is most effective when it builds upon prior knowledge and is presented in ways that resonate with the learner's developmental stage. His theory underscores the importance of language as a cognitive tool, enabling learners to move beyond the immediate and develop complex, abstract thinking. Ang diskarte ni Brunner ay nagsusulong ng isang pabago-bago na nakasentro sa mag-aaral na kapaligiran kung saan binibigyang prioridad ang pag-usisa, pag-alugad, at unti-unting pag-unlad. Sa pamamagitan ng lalong komplikadong mga konsepto, ang kanyang trabaho ay nagbigay inspirasyon sa mga tagapagturo na lumikha ng mas interactive at makabuluhang mga karanasan sa pag-aaral na sumusuporta sa panghabang buhay ng pag-aaral at kritikal na pag-iisip. Ang constructivist approach ni Brunner sa pag-aaral ay makakatulong sa mga mag-aaral mas maunawaan mga aralin, palakihin ang kanilang kakayahang matuto, bumuo ng mga kasanayan sa paglutas ng problema, at pahusayin ang memorya. Ang mga ideya ni Brunner ay buod sa kanyang mga aklat na The Process of Education, Toward a Theory of Instruction, The Relevance of Education, and The Culture of Education.